So this is the man who is rumored to be Anthony Joshua's next opponent, Demsey Mckean, an Australian southpaw, 32 years of age, 6'6" tall. Alias is the Tower, obviously a very big, tall man. I have actually seen him fight a couple times. Wasn't massively impressed, but he is somewhat competent. He's beaten the likes of Jonathan Rice, which might be his best win to date, because Jonathan Rice, even though doesn't have the most impressive record, on his day, he can be a useful heavyweight. And he managed to stop Jonathan Rice in the 10th round. Other than that, there's not really much on there. Marcelo Nascimento, Roger Izonrite. Is that the brother of Ike Izonrite? Or David Izonrite? The guy who fought David Tua back in the days? I wonder if it is. Let me see his age. Yeah, that is, I'm sure that's the brother of David Izonrite. He's also based in Australia. Interesting. So, yeah, there's not really much on the record of Demsey Mckean. But I find this a strange opponent for AJ to come back against. If it is Mckean, this hasn't been confirmed. This is just the rumor mill. I find it a bit strange. First of all, they were apparently looking at Otto Wallin as an opponent, and that's another southpaw who's like 6'5". Demsey Mckean is 6'6". Why are they going for southpaws? Are they looking for yet another bout against Alexander Usyk? I wouldn't have thought so. I would have thought they'd go for a Tyson Fury, maybe even a Deontay Wilder before trying to crack that Usyk puzzle again. So I'm not sure why they're going for these southpaws. And also, I've mentioned in the past, I think an ideal opponent for AJ's comeback would be Gerald Washington for several reasons. First of all, I know AJ has sparred Demsey Mckean, and familiarity is one of the factors in picking opponents a lot of the time, particularly when you're coming back from defeats. I'm sure that's one of the main reasons why Deontay Wilder picked Robert Helenius, or his team picked Robert Helenius, because Wilder was very familiar with him in the gym. And as I say, AJ has sparred Mckean, so maybe the familiarity makes Team AJ comfortable picking a guy like this. But he's also sparred Gerald Washington. And one of the reasons I think Washington is the ideal opponent is because, first of all, Washington knocked out Robert Helenius. So if Deontay Wilder can go ahead and fight Robert Helenius, then the critics can't really be mad at AJ coming off 2 losses like Wilder was, going in there and fighting the guy who beat Helenius in Gerald Washington. So that's the first thing. Secondly, Gerald Washington, to the casuals, he looks the part. 6'6", chiseled guy, you know? Also, Gerald Washington is probably more vulnerable than Anthony Joshua in every department. Gerald Washington doesn't have the greatest stamina. He's gassed out in fights several times. He doesn't have the greatest chin. He's been stopped a bunch of times, including early. He doesn't have the strongest will. Let's be real, Gerald Washington. There's certain fights he's been in where he's just collapsed mentally. So as much as people criticize AJ in those departments, I think Gerald Washington's even weaker. And the guy is, 40 years old or something. So personally, if I was the matchmaker, I'd be saying Gerald Washington is the guy to go for, because it just ticks so many boxes. I think AJ can look devastating against the Gerald Washington. Washington does have some ability. You know, he's got a decent jab. He moves fairly well. He's got a decent level of experience now. But I think he's sufficiently vulnerable for AJ to look like a beast against. And I think that's what Anthony Joshua needs for his first comeback fight. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Perhaps you disagree. Maybe some of you think Demsey Mckean is perfect for AJ. I just think that with Mckean, he may seem a bit limited, but this is an undefeated fighter. And sometimes when a guy is undefeated, their will can be at the absolute peak. And when you got someone in there who's big and strong and he doesn't want to lose, and this is his big opportunity, there's more danger there, you know? And I'm sure, or I suspect anyway, that one of the reasons they're not looking at Gerald Washington is because he isn't ranked in the top 15 of any of the sanctioning bodies. maybe there's something contractually that AJ has with Matchroom or DAZN whereby he has to fight someone that's going to be, I don't know, pay-per-view worthy or in the top 15 or whatever. But when it comes to pay-per-view worthy, I mean, I don't think, as I've said in recent months, that Anthony Joshua's next fight should be a pay-per-view at all. I certainly wouldn't pay for Anthony Joshua on pay-per-view against the Demsey Mckean or whoever. No way. In fact, I wouldn't even pay for Anthony Joshua against a Dylan White if it was to happen next. No, I think for me to want to part with my money to watch Anthony Joshua, he needs to prove himself again. That's just me personally as a individual boxing fan. But yeah, maybe that's the reason that they wouldn't go for a guy like Gerald Washington. But at the end of the day, AJ is not a champion. So there's no obligation with a sanctioning body to fight somebody in the top 15. Nor is he the lineal or anything like that. So there's no kind of moral or, reputation obligation to fight somebody in the top 15. So unless it's, as I say, something to do with Matchroom or the DAZN contract, I don't know why they wouldn't just go for a Gerald Washington. You see what I'm saying? If you're a champion, yes, for my money, you're obligated to fight the best available contender out there or unify with another champion, if you're a champion. If you're coming back from 2 defeats, you've got no belts of any description, you're not champion, you've got nothing to defend, then go out there and fight whoever. It doesn't matter if they're ranked 20 or 30. If that's the best thing for you for a comeback fight, then that's what you should do. So I'll leave it there. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below.